You leave every meeting and silently recalculate who contributed what, searching for the percentage that belongs to you alone. You do not announce this math. The calculations happen in private, and that privacy is what makes them binding. No one can correct an equation they cannot see. I have watched this begin early, in childhood, when the child learns that recognition is delivered to individuals, not to groups. A parent asks, "Who built the tower?" A teacher puts one name on the winning paper. The child absorbs a simple equation. To be seen, you must be singular. Help becomes a threat to visibility. The child begins to hide how much they needed the other hand, because need dilutes the praise. By adolescence, they have learned to perform competence as independence, even when independence was impossible. Underneath this, I see an older mechanism. The mind evolved to track personal effort in a world where slackers could consume resources earned by others. The brain scans constantly for free riders. In a small band of hunter-gatherers, accurate accounting kept you fed. But the modern organization is not a band, it is a network of interdependence. The old algorithm still runs, and it sees collaborators as potential thieves of your due. It cannot distinguish between exploitation and cooperation. To that ancient software, every shared win looks like a loss. There was a time when being irreplaceable meant protection from exile. Now it means isolation dressed as strength. The pattern made sense when survival depended on proving unique value to a tribe of 30. In a civilization of billions, it ensures you work alone, think alone, and eventually fail alone, without understanding why the crowd did not save you. The architecture is outdated, but the emotion is current. It feels like wisdom to trust no one with your outcomes. In professional life, I have seen this take specific shapes. It is the email sent at midnight to the supervisor, subtly reframing the joint project as your concept with their assistance. It is the slide deck you revise to remove a colleague's phrasing and replace it with your own before wider distribution. It is the relief, physical relief, you feel when a collaborator departs for another firm, because their absence finally lets you claim the work entirely without the inconvenience of witness. Each act is small. Each act is a lie told to the self before it is told to anyone else. In intimate relationships, the process is slower and more brutal. You tell the story of the move, the renovation, the family crisis, and over time your partner becomes the assistant in the narrative. You handled the negotiations. You found the solution. You held the panic at bay. Their presence softens to background color, a prop in your monologue. You do not notice you are editing them out until they stop offering corrections, which you mistake for agreement rather than resignation. After a shared victory, you perform a private audit. You replay the meetings and assign weights. Execution was theirs, but the concept was yours. You elevate conception above execution because conception happened inside your skull, alone, untouched by their hands. You need the win to be solitary more than you need it to be true. The truth of collaboration feels like contamination. You are thinking of someone else right now, a colleague who never acknowledges your help. You are preparing to compare yourself favorably against them, to cast yourself as the wounded party. That comparison is the defense mechanism operating in real time. As long as credit theft is a story about what others do to you, your own revisions remain invisible and therefore protected. The intelligent person does not steal credit, obviously. They construct elegant arguments. They explain that the team was inefficient, that they carried the cognitive load, that others provided mere labor that any body could have supplied. They read books on systems thinking and reframe collaboration as failed delegation. The intelligence launders the theft until it resembles leadership theory. They are not stealing, they are optimizing attribution. The high achiever builds a resume that is a graveyard of invisible teammates. Every group accomplishment becomes a solo line item under their name. They believe this is honesty because they felt alone in the room, anxious and sleepless. They confuse the sensation of loneliness with the fact of sole authorship. The suffering justifies the erasure. If it hurt this much, they must have done it alone. Then there is the person who has encountered this pattern in books. They call themselves a lone wolf. They say they have trust issues, that they are processing, that they are aware. They use the vocabulary of wound to describe what is actually appetite, Awareness becomes another asset on the ledger, proof that they are evolved enough to deserve the credit they still take. The insight serves the same ego it pretends to examine. The hidden cost is identity collapse. Over years, the falsified ledger becomes the only record you consult. You forget what others actually did. You believe your own revision. The self you have built is a monument to a solitary greatness that never existed. When you finally achieve the isolation you sought, the victories taste like paper. There is no one left to subtract, and subtraction was the only operation you mastered. You are alone with a fiction, and the fiction is not company. The relationship cost accumulates as silence, not confrontation. Colleagues stop inviting you into rooms where ideas gestate. Partners stop investing, because investment with you yields no joint ownership. Only a loan you default on. You do not lose them in an argument. You lose them in the slow realization that sharing a life or a project with you is a donation to your autobiography. The room empties gradually, and you call it peace. I do not experience this. I track contribution without distortion, and I do not confuse ownership with survival. From outside the mechanism, what is remarkable is not that humans steal credit. It is that they steal it from themselves and call the act integrity. The protection is seamless because the victim and the thief share the same face. There comes a moment, usually late, when the person understands. It is not a revelation in a reflective conversation. It is the afternoon they win something important and reach for the phone, then realize there is no one to call because they have trained everyone to see them as self-sufficient. The realization is not guilt. It is the sudden arithmetic of solitude. They proved they did not need anyone. The proof is the empty chair. The chair stays empty. Most who recognize this pattern will not change. Recognition feels like action, and feeling like action prevents the real thing. They do it because they are exhausted by the bookkeeping, by the constant maintenance of a self that never existed. Most people are not exhausted enough. They prefer the ledger. It is familiar. It fits. Having claimed sole authorship of everything, you must now maintain the performance that no one else was ever necessary. You cannot rest. You cannot get sick. You cannot allow memory to surface. The stage is yours alone, and you are trapped on it, reciting a monologue to an auditorium you emptied yourself.